Yo, what's going on? This is the Jay Cartere Show Podcast, and I am your host, Jay Cartere. In this episode, we're going to be talking about poverty privilege, which probably sounds a bit like an oxymoron. And if you are in poverty or you grew up in poverty, then you may have an adverse reaction to even that term, because poverty isn't nice when you're in it at all. It's terrible. No one wants to be in poverty. But I want to talk about my experiences through growing up poor and how it gave me what I needed in order to become successful, I guess. I still don't think I'm successful now. In about a year, I'll probably count myself as successful. But I'm definitely on the road to where I want to be. And things are way better than it was last year. We're not going to have an ad for this episode. I'm not going to do ads for the episodes moving forward. I want to get to like 100 episodes first and focus on like growing the podcast and getting more listeners and stuff, because I don't really care about making money from this, and that's not the point of the podcast. The point of the podcast is for me to be able to just come out here and voice my thoughts and just have a outlet for my thought process and my theories and the way I look at life, philosophies, I think that's the term, and that sort of stuff, and also share some helpful advice and help you guys get to where you want to be and all that sort of stuff if I can, because that is the hope. I do want to help other people come out of where I was and get to where I'm going and get on the same journey if that's what you want to do. But yeah, I want to talk about, growing up poor and all that sort of shit, and how it's got me to where I am today. Because most people who are poor, they look at it very, very negative. When I was poor, I was looking at it very, very negatively. No, I didn't want to be poor. I wish that I grew up with money and all that sort of stuff. But now looking back, hindsight's 2020, I can see that it imparted upon me a bunch of skills which enabled me to be in a better place than maybe some other people would be at this point in time, because I just know how to save money, and I've got good money management skills, and I know how to live like I'm broke. So I can then make more money than people who actually have higher incomes. So I think that's very, very interesting. So let's go back to, I don't know how far I want to go back, but my mum was an immigrant from Jamaica. I think my father was an immigrant from Nigeria, although I don't know much about my dad because he wasn't really in my life growing up. I don't actually remember at what time he exited my life, but I think he owned like a minicab. I think he owned a minicab service. I don't know if he owned it or he just worked there. I don't know the details, and I can't ask him now because he's passed away, sadly. My mum, I will have a conversation with her at some point to try and get the nitty-gritty details on how she came up and all that sort of history, because I think it's just interesting to see like the older generation's story. I also want to have conversations with my grandparents and stuff like that, hopefully before they kick the bucket. So basically, in my life, my mum hasn't worked a job at all, like in my lifetime. Before I was born, I think she did some sewing and stuff. I don't know what other jobs she had before that. But when I was born, there was none of that. She was on benefits, and the only money we had coming in was the benefit money. So like child support and all that sort of shit. So there wasn't a lot of cash going around. Also, I've got brothers and sisters, so, the money's split. My brothers and sisters are considerably older than me. My youngest brother is 10 years older than me. So like, he had a bit of a head start in it. When I was 8, he was 18, and he was already in a job earning his own money so he could do what he wanted to do with his life and purchase the things that he wants to purchase, basically. But I never really had that freedom. I didn't have that freedom for a very, very long time. Not until I was about 16, I believe, I was able to like buy things that I wanted to buy. But prior to that, it was also always just relying on other people's money, hoping that someone else is going to buy me something. If I ever wanted a toy or something, I had to hope that my mum was going to buy it. And obviously, that's every child's upbringing. But when your mum's poor, and she ain't got no money to get, toys, and you're spending, hours in the Argos catalog imagining playing with toys. That's the lifestyle I had. Like, once in a while I'd get a toy or get something that I wanted, but it got to the point where I thought more rationally about it. Instead of being like, yo, I want this, and not even look at a price, I'd make sure I'm looking at the cheapest one and factoring that into what I'm asking for and all that sort of stuff. And I don't think that if my parents had money or there was a lot of money around me, that I would have ever thought that way, as I don't see that in my age mates who didn't grow up the way that I did. I see that people who were privileged in terms of money, it seems to me, the majority of them don't know the value of a pound, or they don't get to know the value of a pound until they no longer have that support, and then by then it's too late. Like, you got to learn this shit before then, so that when you get out into the real world you can get to business. But if you don't know that and you just think everything's hunky-dory, and you get out there in the real world and you're like, wow, I actually need to make money, it's not that easy. Like, what's going on out here? So you're kind of in a worse predicament, I believe, especially even if you had a moderate income coming in as a child. I see that those children who were in my friend group who had a moderate income coming in and whatnot, those children are now in the 9-to-5 grind. So they get money, they spend it on the weekends, and they get money and continue spending it and living paycheck to paycheck. And that's what they know, because that's what they saw their parents do. And maybe they save a little bit, if that. But I see a lot of people taking out payday loans and shit like that, and using credit cards and going into debt, and it's just wild, mismanaging the funds wildly. And that comes with poverty as well. When you're around people who don't know how to manage their money, that can tend to lead you to just not know how to manage your money. But it had the opposite effect on me, because I saw my mum being poor and I didn't want to be poor. I had dreams of not being poor for a very long time. I think my first aspiration was to be an actor, because if you're acting, you're successful, you get loads of money in it. But also, I guess I probably wanted to be famous. I liked movies and shit like that. And then I wanted to be a musician. This was probably 15 to 16, maybe even 13. I think I made my first song, and that was because grime was popping at the time. But I saw that success was possible, because Chipmunk, he went to my school and he came out with, Who Are You and all that sort of shit, and he blew up and, did his thing, got a record deal and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, okay, if he can do it, then I can do it. And that was the goal. The goal was to get a record deal and stop being poor, and then, make music for a living. That was the goal. And in doing that, I started to love the craft of music and really enjoy it and get deeper into it, learning how to produce and this and that, because you have to become great at it. You have, like, anything that you want to be successful in, like, you have to become great at it, I think, in my opinion. Like, when you're coming from poverty and whatnot and you don't have a lot of chances, you need to become as good as you can be, because you have to work harder than other people. I remember at one point in my music career, I was talking to a gentleman that went to my school as well. He was in my year, and he had got a publishing deal to basically write a book of poems. And I think we was on the bus when we was having this conversation. It was probably like just talking about the music business and all that sort of shit. But the thing that I remember him saying was that, like, he saw the hunger in me, and he saw the amount of work that I had been putting in, making loads of music, doing it all myself, setting up my own studio, doing all that sort of shit, learning how to engineer, putting out mixtapes. I think I've put out like 7 projects now, 5 mixtapes, 2 EPs. At this point, at that point, I was probably like 3 mixtapes deep or something. But he was like, you work way harder than I do. Like, and he was, I don't remember exactly what he said, but the sentiments of it was like, you should have this, like, because I don't work nearly as hard as you. You should have a publishing deal. And I think he had a manager as well, and all that sort of stuff. And I really appreciate him saying that, although I'm glad that I'm not an entitled bastard. And I'm glad that him saying that didn't take root in my mind and make me feel like, wow, I'm doing all this work, I should have these things. But I'm not gonna lie, there were points in my life where I was, you know, trying to do music and stuff, and I'd see people around me with, you know, management, publishing deals, just opportunities that were never handed to me. And I just knew that I just had to do it myself then. It was like, no one's going to do it for me. No one's going to come save me, because I hope that someone's going to come, pluck me out and be like, yo, we're going to give you a great career now. Let's go. But I understood no one was going to save me. And growing up poor, I think, contributed to that, because I realized no one's going to fucking save me, bruv. If I went broke and I was homeless, like, my mum would take me in, definitely. But if I needed like 5k to do something, or I was in debt 5k and I needed it to stay alive, like I'd be dead. I'd die. Like that would be the conclusion. Like I could probably get it though. I could probably beg enough, and people would go into debt for me, because there's just that much love in the family, I guess. But I'd never want to do that. No one's got that on hand to be like, here you go. And that's sad. If you come up in a higher income household, then that 5k may seem like nothing to you. And I understand that. I understand the differences. And let me go back to when I first started getting pocket money. I was getting like £2 a week or something. I don't remember what age I was, but eventually it went to £2.50. And I think the only thing that I really wanted to purchase at that time was, like, you know, sweets, snacks, and the Jackie Chan Adventures comic book. I really wanted to purchase those, and those were like £2.50 an issue, or £1.50. So I was getting that every fortnight, and I think I was getting my £2 every fortnight as well. I don't actually think that was every week, to be honest, looking back. But I learn't how to manage that money. I managed the fuck out of that money, bruv. I knew that I wanted that comic, so I got it. I think I got an edition of a couple other comics. I had some Simpsons comics. I had a Batman comic, like one issue, and eventually I guess I just stopped collecting those. I don't remember what the case was. I think I missed one of the Jackie Chans because I didn't have the money or something, and then it was like, what's the point now, because I wanted the whole collection, innit? So, you know, at that point I learned young that you got to manage your money. And then after that, I think I got £15 every week or something, and then at that point I was trying to buy games for my Xbox 360. Some of you may not know, but I had an Xbox 360 back in the day. And yeah, at that point I needed to manage the money for 3 weeks. You couldn't spend shit. You needed to not spend money. So from early, I was taught the lessons by life. Like, this wasn't purposely taught to me by my parents or anything like that. This was taught to me by life situations, my wants and needs and all that sort of stuff. And I learned that you got to be able to save. You got to be able to not spend, or you got to be able to spend at as least as possible if you want to, you know, buy something expensive or something like that. So I learned that, and that has really helped me, because after that, I think my first proper business was like in college. But prior to that, you know, I started my music business, but, you know, that didn't make any money really. So that was just a loss. I bought the studio equipment, that sort of stuff. I bought a camera. I started a business to make music videos. And did we even get any clients? I don't think we actually got one paying client, you know. I don't think we got any money from that. I didn't make any money back from that. I just lost a bunch of money. So that was not good. Then I went to uni so that I could get the loan and buy myself some more time to do this music shit. I went to learn music production and shit because my money was just low. I was getting income support and shit, but that is not great. And then after I dropped out of uni, luckily I had some of the student loans left to still live on for a little while. And I basically started my social media marketing business because I had built my Twitter following to over 10,000 followers by unfollowing and following people and scheduling posts and stuff. and I realized I could sell that service to other people. And that's basically what I done. I think I got one client. I didn't get a bunch of clients. I got one client which was paying me like, I don't know, 80 something pounds a month or something, and I was just losing money every month. But it was lessened by the £80 that I was making and the £20 or something that I was making from YouTube. And I was just focusing, I don't even know what I was focusing on at that point. I think I was trying to do my music, I was trying to do YouTube, I was trying to do a bunch of shit. And I realized I needed to just focus on one thing to actually bring in an income. Like, that was the goal. I needed to make money so that I could pay my bills and have money left over and be able to invest in whatever I wanted to do, because I knew money is freedom. When you have enough money to pay your bills for a year, you have a year that you don't have to work. That is freedom. That means you can do whatever you want in that year, or 2 months, or whatever, what have you, depending on how much you can save and how much your bills cost. But if you live below your means, then you can build up a lot more time, and that's just a choice that you got to make. But coming up poor, like living below my means, it's just normal living. Like, being able to eat every day. Like, I ate every day when I was growing up. Like, my mum cooked food and she took care of us. She definitely did that. There was always gas and electric and always that sort of shit. But money was always scarce. Mum was always moaning about there being the light on and all that sort of shit, and, you know, using too much electric and blah blah blah, you know, that sort of stuff. But like, these days, being able to eat, having gas and electric, and having internet, like, what more do I need at that point? Like, everything else on top of that is a luxury. So once you got the basics down, you can just save the rest of the money, and that's the way that I generally live. And it works for me. Or you invest that money into a business or something and work towards that. But yeah, I've lost my train of thought now. Where was I? So I think my next money-making venture after, you know, the social media marketing, because I only had one client, I wasn't really sourcing clients like that, like mad, because that wasn't my passion, and that wasn't what I really wanted to do for a living. Like, that wasn't super fun for me. It was really tedious and boring, and not something that I really wanted to focus on. I think I got a video that hit over like 100,000 views, my Metal Gear Solid video, and that popped off, and I was like, wow, okay, here's something that can work, let's focus on this. And I started focusing on that for a very long period of time, just trying to pump out videos so that I could make maybe 10 cents a video, and then hopefully make enough videos that it's $1, and then you keep on going until it's like $100. Like, that was the plan. And I was doing that. I learned how to mod GTA accounts, and I sold those. That brought in some income that helped me stay afloat for a little while. I sold all my old games on eBay and all the shit that I don't need. Like, that is a great thing for you to do if you're low on funds, you ain't got any money. Sell all the shit that you don't use. You'd be surprised the amount of shit that you got that you're not using, that you put away because you're like, yeah, maybe I'll use this eventually, and you haven't used it in like 6 months. Get rid of it. Sell it now. Because there was bare games that I had, and I was like, you know, I'll finish it eventually. I'll finish it. And I won't finish it, bruv. I didn't have no time to finish games. So they were just sitting there and losing value. So I was like, you know what? Bite the bullet. Let's sell all this shit. And then I sold a bunch of them. And then I realized that I could buy games for the low on eBay and sell them for higher, depending on if people bid high enough. But like, I started like really reverse engineering that. I picked one specific game. It was Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and I saw that game was generally going for like £16. You could generally get a sell for £16. That was generally what it was going for. Sometimes you'd get lucky and it'd go for like £20 and stuff like that. So I looked on eBay and I was like, okay, let me buy a bunch of Call of Duty's Black Ops 2s for like £12, yeah? And if I can get £8, then that's great. But let's aim for £12, and then I make £2 on top of it. Maybe I make £1 in the postage and packaging area. So I was looking for the small profits so that I could scale over time. I did that for a little while. I think the GTA accounts was probably after that, I think, because I was selling those on eBay as well until eBay was like, no, you can't sell that shit around here. Then I made the GTA website and I sold a bunch of shit around there until Rockstar fucked up the motive, and I was like, no, you can't do that no more. And they updated their thing so that you couldn't transfer over characters. So I was like, okay, that's the end of that. And then we went back to focusing on YouTube. And then eventually, you know, down the road, I learned how to actually run a proper business, how to set up an email list, how to do all that sort of stuff. Started playing Ark eventually, like this is years later. And I started hosting an Ark server, and then I realized that people would buy Ark server codes when that was like a side thing to my business. The main business that I wanted to start around the Ark server stuff was a listing site where people could list their servers and get more players on their server, because I saw that there were a few other sites that were doing that and those sites were shit. Those sites were really, really bad. They looked bad, they didn't look nice, and yeah, they weren't English optimized as well. I think the people who made those sites were generally like Eastern European and stuff, so some of the translations were off. I think there was one site that was English that did look a little bit better, but I knew that if I got the name arcps4servers.com and focused the site on PS4 servers, then I'd be able to create my own niche and create my own business there. So that's what I done. I made that site. It took, I don't know, it took about a month, I think, to actually make the site, because I was doing other stuff before then that took longer, because I wrote my book. I put that out. I wrote a couple books in this time. I don't want to go over like everything that I've done so far. I made the course, and I've done a lot of experimenting before I got to this place. I've done a lot of failures. I had a site called honeygaming.com where I was, okay, the thing is still recording because the sound's just not showing me anymore, where I got connects with game distributors, and it was basically a site selling games, and I realized the profit margin on selling games was so fucking low. Oh my god, so low, so low. Like, I'm talking, in order to buy a game from a distributor, it's like £40, and in order to sell that game it's £40, bruv. Like, what the fuck? And if you're lucky, you may get the game for £37 or something like that. But some games were like £45. So it's like, bruv, there's no money to be made there. The distributor was telling me, yo, okay, you basically, most people don't make money on the game sales. You'll make money on selling the actual consoles, selling accessories and stuff like that. So I stocked up on some accessories and that sort of shit. I built the website. I probably did not enough videos to promote it at all, but I did a few videos and, you know, advertised it in the description or something. I don't think I actually had a pre-roll ad or anything like that. And I tried to sell these things on eBay, and I was just making a loss. And like, it came to a point where I was just like, you know what, because I had all the stuff set up at the price that would have made a reasonable profit. So like, let's say I paid £15 for the thing, I was selling it for £20 and no one was buying it, so I had to lower it to the point where I was just selling it for how much I got it for. And I think I lowered it lower than that to just get rid of the inventory, because I was like, you know what, this isn't going to work. I'm not doing this. This is dead. I don't want to do this. And I got rid of all the inventory. I made a loss, but I minimized the loss by selling the shit. And I was like, I'm not involved with that anymore, man. That is a dead business. But yeah, I made arcps4servers.com to basically focus on the listing stuff. I paid for the theme, the listing theme. I did a bunch of, you know, custom work and shit, put a lot of energy into that shit. And then I flung up a little side thing of selling downloadable server codes so people can get their server set up really quickly. And that was like just a side thing. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I was like, okay, we'll put this up because people who are listing their sites will probably want this as well. Maybe they can have it as an add-on. And then sales started coming in for the codes, and they weren't really coming in for the listings. I was like, oh, okay. And I pivoted. I was like, okay, now this is what the site focuses on. I'm going to focus on the codes. I made more codes. I spent more time on, getting everything perfect so that the user experience is great. The interface was great. It was easy to purchase, easy to get your codes set up. I made tutorials for everything so that people didn't have to ask questions, although they still do. And then I just direct them to the tutorial. But I made it as easy as possible, made it as convenient as possible, and now that is the business that is supporting everything else I do today. Basically, I'm still selling the book, A Gamer's Guide to Greatness and stuff, but that's not something I'm focusing on selling. I'll focus on selling, I'm going to do the course, which is going to be a little more in-depth than the book. So the book will be good as a precursor to the course, and then the course will be good as a precursor to the membership. But that I'm going to be setting that up more next year, and as I grow my YouTube channel, that's going to grow in people believing that I know what I'm doing, that I can teach you how to create a business through your gaming channel and actually make a living on YouTube. And that will pick up with more sales over time, and then I'll do more promotions like next year and stuff. But right about now, I'm just doubling down on what's working, and I'm saving like fuck. Like, I am living below my means because coming from poverty taught me that. And it gave me the tenacity to keep on trying. Like, all these failed ventures, all the money that I've lost, it gave me the tenacity to keep on going, because I knew that no one was going to save me. I knew no one was going to come and be like, okay, you tried your best, here's £1 million, go along your journey. I knew that no one was going to save me, and I knew that I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, because I just personally think that's dead. Because I did work experience in Iceland, and I think I did 3 of the 5 days that I was supposed to do, because one day my bike broke and another day it was some event that the school was holding, so I went to that. But I did 3 days, and that was enough to let me know that I never wanted to work retail. I never wanted to work for someone else. I just hate someone trying to tell me what to do, and I just wouldn't do well in that environment. And I've always been entrepreneurial ever since I was in primary school, selling fucking Scooby-Doos, and I've always been creative because you had to make like different Scooby-Doos and shit. But I'm more creative when it comes to the business side, to be honest. Like, I love business, man. I really, really love it. I've got a big passion for it. I really enjoy it. And I think that any success that I do have, I'm just so thankful that I'm thankful for all the experiences that I've had thus far that have brought me to this place, because without them I wouldn't be here. And I know that if you're going through a tough time and you're broke and things ain't going well for you, then you're gonna be like, oh, what's this fucking guy talking about? Being poor isn't great whatsoever. No, it's not. It's not. But if you can survive being poor, yeah, and you can make it through to the other side, the lessons you learn from that are going to be very, very valuable. They're going to be very, very valuable. Trust me. And it could go either way. Poverty can break you or it can make you, man. You can either get out of poverty and make your way out and be like, yo, I'm never going back there again, so I got to be smart with my money. Or you consign to that life. You blame other people. You say it's the world's fault. Someone needs to help you out of this, and you just wait for that helping hand, which good luck on that, fam. Good luck on waiting for that shit, because no one gives a shit about your problems, man. Everyone's got their own problems. No one gives a shit about yours. You got to take your life into your own hands and get to where you want to be through sheer perseverance and force. And hopefully don't have any babies young, because anyone who's having babies young, I feel for you, man. I feel for you, because that is stress. That is stress. If I ever had a child, I wouldn't be where I am today, because it would have just taken so much time out of me and probably resources and stuff. So I'm so lucky that I haven't had a kid yet. But try not to have a kid young. And also, what I want to impart onto you is, if you're broke, it's better to just be honest than to try and pretend that you're not broke. Because when I was broke, I didn't spend any money because I was losing money every month. And anytime someone was like, yo, do you want to come out or can you do this? I was like, no, I'm broke. I ain't doing that. I'm losing money every month. Very, very honest. Wasn't like, okay, let's do that. Wasn't trying to buy the latest clothes and shit and trying to look super fly. I didn't give a shit because I was poor. And being poor, you know, and looking rich is just stupid to me. And that's what it seems like a lot of people try and do. They're poor, so they try and buy stuff to make themselves look like they're not poor, which they feel will make them happier. And it's temporary happiness. It's not real happiness, and it doesn't really get you out of your situation. The better thing to do is not spend money on anything you don't need. I haven't bought clothes in, I don't know, but at least 2 years, and it's terrible because I've grown out of most of my clothes now. Some clothes are still fitting too, and those are the clothes that I wear, but I am gonna need to get more clothes and get a few outfits and stuff, but I'm gonna get a bare minimum, bruv. A bare minimum, get like 2 outfits because I spend most of my days in my house, like being naked doing work, so I don't really need clothes all the fucking time. I only need them when I'm going out, so I'll get like 2 to 4 outfits and maybe a whole week of outfits. That makes sense. I'll get a whole week of outfits, and that will be where I am until I need to update that because I've grown out of the clothes that I've got, or I want to treat myself. But like, I went through eating rice and gravy, eating potatoes every day. I'm gonna go through eating potatoes every day for the next few months, or at least just cooking every day and not delivering anything and getting a lot of fast food, because I've had to do that over the past few weeks because my kitchen and bathroom is being renovated and it's just long to cook. I all my stuff is in the living room instead of in the kitchen, so it's long to get everything from there, and it's just annoying. And this has been going on for ages, like almost, I think it's over a month now. So I don't know. I don't think it's over a month yet, but it will be a month soon. Hopefully it's done by this week, and then I'm going to get back to working out and eating healthily so that I can get my body that I want to get, because I've always dreamt of getting the 8-pack, and I don't think I'm going to get it this year or next year, but maybe in 3 years we'll get there. But I want to start working out regularly and adding that to my thing. I'm basically just sorting out my life now. I've spent years being poor, spent years struggling for every pound and struggling to keep as much money as I could, struggling to stay afloat, and now it's the time where I'm able to reorganize my life and get it to a point where it makes my work as smooth as possible. Because when you're broke, you got to jerry rig things, you got to put things together. Like, you use an old laptop that you've got that kind of still works, you use a camera that's all right, or like the audio doesn't work properly. Like, you use things that you have because it's necessary, and you don't have the money to upgrade. Now I'm able to reinvest in my business and get it to a point where I can buy convenience, which gives me more time so that I can enjoy life more and get more work done. And I love that, and I'm really happy of where I've brought myself to. Of basically the last year, I've basically started to see an uptick in success and stuff. But prior to that, I learned many lessons. From all my failures, I learned lessons, and your failures are just as important as your successes. Trust me, you need to learn from your failures, learn what doesn't work so that you can do what does work, and you can stay away from what doesn't work. But yeah, it's about 12:21 now. I should be sleeping, honestly. Generally don't record podcasts this late, but I was having a conversation with my wife, and she was saying how she was really proud of me of the past year, about where I've come from and where I've got to and all that sort of shit. And, you know, I was talking about, you know, I'm so thankful that I grew up poor, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't know a lot of the things that I know now, and I would have just spent all my money. I would have spent everything I made, because that's what I see everyone else do. Like, I think that is what most people do. Like, they get money, they spend it. As soon as they get money, they're spending it. And I'm lucky that I'm not like that, and I try and save as much as possible. Like more than 50% of what I earn, I'm trying to save. I'm trying to keep costs down low as much as possible. Like, the bare minimum. Just stay alive. Just keep staying alive. And I think I'll upgrade my living a little bit over the next month and stuff, just to like eat healthily, because when you're broke it's hard to eat healthy, because I don't know, they want to kill you, bro. They want to kill the poor people and make them eat shitty. But yeah, it's just cheaper to eat crappily. So now I'm going to be able to eat better and create better meals and stuff. I've got a meal plan, and I've got to meal plan. I don't have a meal plan yet. If you guys do meal plans, let me know. Let me know. I may be in the market for a meal plan. If you can do me a free one, that would be great. I don't know if I want to spend money on a meal plan, to be honest, because I can do it for free myself. And my brother does fitness shit, so I can talk to him if I really needed to. But yeah, if you do meal plans, let me know. I'll give you some promotion or something. Or you can get these exposure bucks. But nah, if you're broke, don't even bother. Like, well, I mean, maybe the exposure will help you, but I'm not trying to exploit broke people and get them to work for exposure, man. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in working for free. Some people do. I don't. I also, like, there was a subject on the timeline a little while ago about people glamorizing the struggle, and there was another tweet that I saw recently of one lady who was basically saying how her parents pay for everything, and then some next guy was like, oh, you ain't got your life together or some shit. And if your parents pay for everything for you, use that to your advantage. Like, don't let anyone shame you. Like, when I was broke, I wished my parents was able to pay for shit for me. Do you know how much easier life would have been if that was the case? I would have been able to just focus on my businesses from day one and not really worry about the stresses of being broke. And that may have made me more successful more quickly, or it may have made me more lax and lazy and not worried that much, so that I didn't really put the amount of work in that I was putting in. Like early this year, like, I don't know, like 16-hour days, I think, maybe that, something like that, like working from 9 till 10, shit like that. I probably wouldn't have done that if I didn't need to. Because now I don't really need to work like that, and I'm working less because I feel that I've earned it, and I don't need to work as much, but I'm still working super hard. I'm still putting out content every week. I could stop putting out content for like 2 months and get back to it when I wanted to. I could go and chill and just play games or watch movies and come back in a couple months or something, but I'm still consistently working. Because I know that at any point in time, like, the hose can shut off, business can flop, everyone can be like, yo, we don't want this anymore. Like, you can just stop making money, because it's happened to me many times. Like, you make money for a period of time, and you stop making money. Like, when people lose their jobs, they make money for a period of time, then they stop making money, and then they're fucked, because they didn't save any money, they didn't think about the future, they didn't think about the fact that it was possible that they would stop making money. And I am always thinking about that possibility. I never want to be caught with my pants down. I never want to be caught out here just super broke. I want to create my own cushion to fall back on, because I never had the safety net of like family and friends and people who had a bunch of money to save me from the depths of being broke in a capitalist society, because it's not great. But as I said, coming from that gave me the tenacity, it gave me the knowledge that I needed to succeed today. So if you are going through a tough time and you are broke right about now, I want you to take this and understand that you will look back on these days and you will be thankful if you come out the other side and become successful. If you just blame everyone else for your problems and stuff, then you're always going to be a salty, bitter bastard. But if you realize that you can change your life and you put the work in and you invest in educating yourself and you invest the time, maybe the money in getting new skills and shit like that, taking courses, watching a bunch of YouTube videos, reading a bunch of blog articles, actually doing this stuff, because you got to do. When you do, you learn. I had to start businesses to learn how to run businesses. I had to start my YouTube channel to learn how to run a YouTube channel. I had to put out over 1,000 videos to learn how to make videos. Like, I could make videos that got a bunch of views if I wanted to. Like, people are always looking at my views and like, oh, your channel's dead, or you bought subscribers and blah blah blah. I've already made a video on that, so I'm not going to get super into that now. But I purposely make videos that I know are going to do well over time, because it's going to bring traffic to my business and they're going to rank. That's what I do. If I wanted to put out a video that got loads of views and I wanted to promote it, I could do that. But there's no point. There's YouTubers out here getting millions. Nah, if you get millions of views, you're probably doing pretty well. But there's YouTubers out here who've got like millions of subscribers, or they're getting like thousands of views and whatnot, and they're broke because they're not living below their means, and maybe they're spending too much money, and because the AdSense is shite. Like, if you're relying on that, you're playing a dying game, man. And when YouTube switches up the shit on you, and you know your videos aren't going to your subscribers, because basically that's how it works now. Like, your subscribers ain't seeing everything. If you put too much stock in your subscriber base and your followers and all that sort of stuff, then you can find yourself in a really terrible position. And I'm always looking to future-proof myself and looking for the next thing, because I always know that there's always a chance that things can fuck up and you can lose everything. So I'm always looking for the next thing that I want to do. Right about now, the next thing is the course, the Grow on YouTube course, the membership. And then I'm going to create a gaming community through my Patreon and focus more on that, recruiting like mature players around that. And then I'm gonna deal with music for a little while. I think next year I'm probably gonna focus on music for a little while. We'll see how that goes, but I don't expect that to make me any money whatsoever. I do want to create a record label within the next 3 years. That'll be very, very interesting. But I could sell beats. Like, that is a revenue stream. I could definitely sell beats. I could definitely sell another course on how to make a song at home, or how to make a beat, or whatever I want to do, and just use the music to promote that, because that would just be smarter than trying to get a bunch of streams or sales or anything like that, because I could just sell a product that people are willing to pay for because they want to get sales and streams and all that sort of shit. But I can teach them how to actually make a good song, because a lot of people just don't know. And I can teach, audio engineering and all that sort of stuff, because I've got the skills. I learned how to do it. I'm still learning more every day. But yeah, like, eventually I want to get into business development. That's like the long-term goal. I'll probably do that in like 5 years or something, and focus on that. And then my price is going to go way up by then. And hopefully I'll be working less and making more, which seems to be a pattern. It seems to be like, the more you got to do a lot of upfront work, and then eventually you start working less and making more, because you've done all that upfront work. And it's just so necessary, man. It's so necessary, and I'm so glad that I did it. And I'm so happy that I'm on my way to where I want to be. And life is way better than it was last year. Life is way better than when I was poor. Let's get that straight. Like, I don't want anyone to think I'm trying to say being poor is great and you should try and be poor. No, but I believe that the hard lessons that life teaches you when you grow up poor are very, 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 very valuable. And a lot of people don't have those lessons, and a lot of people fail because of the lack of, the knowledge that brings you in terms of like money management and stuff. But then a lot of people don't get those lessons. So it's a gift and a curse, really. It's a gift and a curse. It can go either way, but for me, I can look back on it now and say it was good for me, and it was positive for me, because it turned me into the person who I am. But this was basically like a kind of vlog thing. I'm going to call it Poverty Privilege, because I think that's an interesting title. But, as I said, I don't believe in the glamorization. I didn't say it, but there was a tweet about the glamorization of the struggle and whatnot. And I believe it's good to take pride in the fact that you came from struggle. It's good to do that, because then you show other people who are going through the struggle that it's possible. And I think that is very, very important. But if you don't come from the struggle, like people who don't come from the struggle, you can still go and make yourself successful as well. You don't need to feel ashamed that you didn't go through the struggle. You don't need to pretend that you went through the struggle. No, enjoy the privilege that you were granted in life and use it to the best of your ability. Don't I hate this new era of people saying, oh, check your privilege and all this sort of shit, and trying to shame people for having privileges in life. No. No. You own your privilege, yeah, and use it to the best of your ability. If you have any privileges that have benefited you in life whatsoever, and honestly, the only privilege I really look at is financial privilege, because I believe financial power is the key to changing the world and the key to changing your life. And you have a substantially different life when you've got financial privilege. Like if you're a poor black man, then yeah, you're gonna have a different life than a poor white guy, but you're still poor. You're both poor. Like being poor ain't great. Like no, I don't know, maybe some people are having great lives being poor, but being poor is not where anyone generally wants to be. Like someone who's more financially privileged than you is living a way different life than you're living on a day-to-day basis, because they just have more options and opportunities, and they can buy time. Like you can buy time. Like when you got money, you have the ability to make more time for yourself and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you're not poor, you didn't grow up poor, that's fine. If you did grow up poor, that's fine. Like you can be a success either way if you put the work in and you put the time into learning and really going towards your goals. And I wish you all the best either way. Like as I said, when I was younger, I wish that I grew up rich and all that sort of stuff. But now looking back, I don't think I don't have any regrets. Let's just say that. I just don't have any regrets because I've got to where I've got to now. And I'm going to where I'm going to now. And I love my life. I'm able to get up every morning and do what I want. Right about now I'm not, because the renovations are still going on. Like this has been the most fucked month of the year so far. This has been a great year. 2018 was definitely my year. I didn't say that at the beginning of the year or last year, because I never do that, because I never say that, because it usually isn't my year and I believe that shit's corny. But 2018 was my year. It was the year of, you know, a great number of things. No, not a great number of things, just a few things going in my favor, and me doing the work to make that happen and capitalizing on things and just playing smart. I've just totally forgot what I was saying before I said 2018 was my year. Yeah, I think I was talking about the fact that I don't have any regrets, because it's got me where I'm got to and where I'm going to, basically. Like every choice that I've made this far, and I've learned from my mistakes. Like all those mistakes that I made, I'm happy that I made those mistakes and I made those losses, because I won't ever make them again. Trust me, I'll never make those losses again, because I know what I'm doing now. But I'm always willing to learn, and I'm always trying to learn from any mistakes that I make, and that's very important. But yeah, I just want to say, you know, do your thing. I wish everyone the best. And that was basically, I just wanted to give some insight into where I came from, where I'm going, and my thoughts on life, I guess. So that when I talk about, you know, doing the work and all that sort of stuff, people don't think, you came from privilege, or you grew up rich, what do you know, all that sort of shit. You know that I went through the shit. Like, come on, I went through the shit. I came out on the other end, hopefully. We'll see in a year. I don't want to be presumptuous, and it's possible for everyone, especially with the internet. Like, I think if you've got the internet connection, then you've got the ability to create an income, like 100%. You got the ability to create £1 million business if you wanted to, because you got the internet. You can create a website and start selling something today. You can sell a digital product that you don't have to really pay to manufacture. Maybe you need to use your iPhone to do some videos and that sort of stuff. Maybe you want to buy a camera to make it a little bit better, or you could sell a bunch of shit these days, man. You could make music and sell stock music to sites, and you could take photos and sell those. Like, it depends on what you really like. It doesn't even matter. You could not start a business. You could just love something a lot and then create a partnership with a business that sells that shit, get that stuff for free for yourself and recommend it to other people and get a commission off that. Like, there's just so many ways to make money out here. There's so many ways to lift yourself out of poverty and to do better for yourself. And if you have access to the internet and you're able to listen to this, then the option's there for you, and it's definitely possible for you. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not possible. Don't let anyone put you into a victim mentality, making you think that the world is against you and it's the world's fault that you're not successful. No, it's your fault. You need to make better choices. You need to learn from your mistakes. You need to try more. You need to do more. And you need to be patient. It takes time. It's taken, like, I don't even know how long it's been. At least since 2013. At least since then. Because that's when I started putting out gaming videos on YouTube. And even before then, I was trying to do the music shit since I was 16. I'm 24 now. That's like 8 years. It's 8 years of being poor, bruv. It's 8 years of being poor and actively trying very hard not to be poor and trying to make money and trying to make businesses. Like, that's a long time, and a lot of people just aren't willing to hold out for that long. They aren't willing to eat the rice and gravy. They aren't willing to eat the beans. Like, beans and ketchup is okay certain times, you know. They ain't willing to eat the soup. They're not willing to do it. You gotta be willing. You gotta be willing to make the sacrifices. I was willing to make the sacrifices because I always believed that there'd be a light at the end of the tunnel, and eventually all the sacrifices that I made would pay off. It was very disheartening at times, spending a lot of time and energy and sometimes money on things for it not to work and for me to see no success. But you just got to keep on going until it works. You got to keep on going until it works. And sometimes things that you didn't even know would work would be the things that work for you. Like, I didn't know that selling fucking server setup codes would be the business that would be successful for me, but it was. And I learned that through trying other things and just putting testers out there and just seeing what happens. Like, you got to just experiment and test and do that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's what I want to leave you with. Good luck. Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, all that sort of shit. Tell me, how is your upbringing? How was your upbringing? Did you come up from a privileged family? Did you come up poor? How was it? It's interesting to me. Like, I'm really interested in how other people were brought up and where they are in their lives now and how that has shaped them to where they are. Because I think parenting is going to be a very interesting thing. And like, people are interesting to me. Like, it's very interesting how people become who they are based on their experiences and based on their values and whatnot. So, you know, let's have a conversation, man. Let's have a conversation. And please rate the podcast on iTunes and all that sort of stuff. We want to get the podcast up there, get more people listening and that sort of shit. And I will see you, or you will hear me next time. Peace out. If you want to learn how I got over 23,000 subscribers and millions of views on my YouTube gaming channel, then you are in luck. Sign up to this free course right now. Link will be in the card, in the description, and in the pinned comment. Or go to growonyoutube.com/20k SEO course. In this course, you will learn the best way to write your video titles, tags, and descriptions to help you rank on the first page of YouTube. It's simple when you know what to do. I'll also show you a hack that will help you choose the right key phrases and help you create videos that can rank and get views no matter what game you play. Stop struggling to grow your YouTube gaming channel and start doing what works. Click on the link in the description or go to growonyoutube.com/20k SEO course. This course will not be up forever, so get in there as soon as possible. I hope to see you here soon, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey of turning your passion into your career.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long. So all this warmth I share with